Okay, happy Thursday. So today is a continuation. I'm going to be checking your shading. I wanted to share a few examples from yesterday that were coming together nicely. This one right here is Amy's. And what I wanted to point out with Amy's is it looks like her portrait has lip liner around the guy's mouth. And he doesn't have that here. This is something that I've noticed a lot of students do that you need to work on is making sure that you don't have funny outlines. Okay, so his lips don't have outlines. Also, the eyes are much deeper and darker, so she needs to get in there with her pencil. We only want to see those little shiny reflections. That's the darkest thing on this whole drawing. And then there's little highlights. He has little reflections in his hair, so you need to put that. Same with here. We want to feel the texture. So paying attention to those little details. She's very close. And then she can continue to put in little dark hairs, individual hairs, because they're not all one value. If I zoom in here, you can tell, but she's so close. And then maybe some shading on the sides of the nostrils here and here. So you're adding and adding and adding. She needs to work on those little dark areas on the gaps of the teeth. And these are the little things each day that I'm going to talk to you guys about. When you finish one area, sometimes something else will pop up and another thing will pop up. Remember, things are areas of color, they're not outlines. Okay, so you really want to be clear about that, and I'll help you pinpoint things. Okay, for some reason I can't use my mouse this way. Here's another student. Clearly, she's not done, but she's done a more effective job with the lips compared to the other one where it had lip liner, right? So she's still not done. She still has some bright white areas. And how do you get those bright white is you go much darker around them to make the whites pop. So light next to dark equals pop. And obviously she's still adding layers. She's not done with this eye or this part. You can tell she's working from right to left and she still has a lot of shading to do, but it's excellent. The texture of the hair. I put a do's and don'ts for hair. It was on Tuesday. So take a look at that. It's right here, do's and don'ts for drawing hair. You could put a do's or don'ts for drawing lips, do's or don'ts for drawing the nose. It's really easy. You just go to YouTube and put in whatever it is that you want to see. Do's and don'ts for drawing, let's say, lips. Ta-da! Or you could put do's and don'ts for drawing eyelashes, and something will pop up. So it's really up to you and what your needs are at the time. I want you to start learning how to research these things. We've talked about it, and it's up to you to put in the work. This assignment I said is due tomorrow, fully shaded. That's when I will start grading them. You'll have the weekend if you need to do any revisions, and then we'll have some extra time for you to raise that grade. But I want to start getting that going because I want people to take me seriously, and this is worth 100 points. So that's something really important for you to understand, to use your class time wisely. I give you plenty of class time. I expect you to use it. This person is still layering. You could tell that hair here isn't quite as good as the hair on this one. And so, it's obviously going to take time and some layering. As I said, this assignment is going to be due Friday at 7 p.m. And then here's another student, and she was beating herself up a little bit. She said, I know mine should be darker, but keep in mind, this is a photograph and it has real blacks. She's using a gray pencil. So I think she was being a little hard on herself. And yes, she still needs to add in more darks, but it's never going to be quite as dark as the reference image, but she is doing a phenomenal job. So I'm going to just keep working with you and talking to you about little things that stand out to me to help it become dimensional. This person has great lights and darks, but there's still so many more deep darks. Like I could see in here, it's much deeper and darker, and this eyebrow needs to be raised up. Everybody has more room to grow. Sometimes you need to put in the deepest, darkest thing, like for example, this dark shadow under the lip, in order to understand what else needs to be dark. areas of darkness and will help you map out other things. So you see how her eyes are really white reflection here because she has nice darks around it, and that's what makes the whites pop in the reflection of the eye. So that's great. And if you have any questions, I'll be walking through it. You can volunteer whoever wants to go first. This is we learn from conversing and